ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
Because you can see, because you can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
See the stars all the time. Except like 40 years ago when it was just pure blackness. Contradicting pricks.
Right, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
Yeah. It's not a black void. I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
And when you're in space and you're looking into deep space and you're on the sun side of the orbit, the sunlight washes out all the starlight, so you can't see any stars, just like here on Earth.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
The sunlight washes out all the starlight, so you can't see any stars, just like here on Earth. But then when you look out into deep space away from the sun, it's the darkest black you can imagine.
Yeah, you can, and there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas.
This is what clowns look like
in
without their makeup.
just hanging there in a vast sea of darkness, and the most frightening darkness that you could ever imagine.
Magellan clouds of
you see the Magellanic Clouds.
Magellanic, see, I just wrote the Magellan
Well, there's a large
clouds.
one and a small one, right?
Yeah.
The sky is a deep black when viewed from the moon, as it is when viewed from cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the moon.
And then you can see the zodiacal lights.
Whoa.
Those are amazing. Right before
the lights
sunrise.
of the zodiac.
The lights of the zodiac. The zodiacal lights. Okay.
Mr. Armstrong, I do realize that when you were on the moon, you had very little time for gazing upwards. But could you tell us something about what the sky actually looks like from the moon, the sun, the earth, the stars, if any, and so on?
The sky is a deep black when viewed from the moon, as it is when viewed from cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the moon. The Earth is the only visible object other than the sun that can be seen, although there have been some reports of seeing planets. I myself did not see planets from the surface, but I suspect they might be visible.
There's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas.
The sky, of course, was black, but it had sort of a velvet sheen to it. The biggest visual surprise was just how black the sky was. You have a brilliant sun, brighter than any sun you normally would see, even here in New Mexico. You have these extraordinarily high mountains. We were in a valley deeper than the Grand Canyon. But then you have this black sky, a sky blacker than black, as the old Vidicon expression used to be.
And we have to realize that in space, without the intervening atmosphere, the heavens are 10 times as bright, stars 10 times as numerous, because there's no atmosphere to block the light.
You can see those.
Which are what? Explain those to us.
Oh, well,
I mean, I know what they are, but explain it to...
Did you hear that? The stars are 10 times as bright. So on the nicest, darkest night, you can see all the stars out in the country. Multiply that by 10 times. That's pretty bright. Too bad you aren't.
Explain it to the
it's
audience.
It's this vertical column of fuzzy glow that comes up perpendicular to the horizon shortly before the sunrise.
Just the inherent beauty of it, the velvet, bottomless bucket of the universe, in just hanging there in a vast sea of darkness, and the most frightening darkness that you could ever imagine.
I've often tried to explain the difference between darkness, when you turn out the lights and it's dark in here, or blackness. Blackness is the endlessness of it all. It's hard to comprehend.
When you get up on a clear night in Colorado, up in the mountains where there's no light and you can see all these stars, well, multiply that by 1,000. That's what it's like in space.
And we cannot see stars.
Now it's 1,000 times brighter. You know, the thing about a lie is you have to remember your lie. And most people that lie are so fucking stupid. They can't do that. Nice thing about a truth You don't have to remember it at all, because it's the fucking truth. How filthy retarded are you?
I was just a systems engineer on a well-functioning spacecraft coming home. And so, sure, I had work to do, but not nearly as pressing as before. And we were oriented such that we were rotating to keep thermal balance on the spacecraft, and oriented in such a way that every 2 minutes, the Earth, the Moon, the Sun, and a 360-degree panorama of the heavens appeared in the cabin window. And that was awesome. It was an overwhelming experience. And we have to realize that in space, without the intervening atmosphere,
And we cannot see stars.
the heavens are 10 times as bright, stars 10 times as numerous, because there's no atmosphere to block the light.
Black.
That's Edgar Allan Mitchell. He's dead now. Dead men tell no tales. And this gentleman right here is Neil Armstrong. If I'm not mistaken, they're both astronauts. They both went on the missions together. One saying that black is pitch black, and the other one saying it's 10,000 times brighter, or whatever the fuck they're saying. But you kind of...
From cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the Moon, the space between the Earth and the Moon.
Since the moon has no atmosphere, then a daytime picture, if you're there in the daytime of the moon, you see a full night sky of stars, even with the sun in the sky as well.
When you looked up at the sky, could you actually see the stars and the solar corona in spite of the glare?
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any.
Years later, though, Michael Collins would remember seeing the elusive stars and wrote about them in Expeditions to the Moon.
My finger's down my throat right now because, like, I'm kind of puking in my mouth because, like, this is a lot of lying and, like, it's a lot of puke. You know, like the pukes that are on there talking with their puke lies and their puke faces. They're pukes. And anybody believing that puke shit is fucking retarded beyond belief.